MTD Meditation. The unexamined life is not worth living. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. The more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in combat. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. With this shield or on it, by perseverance, the snail reached the ark. Come, see, conquer. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. I can choose either to be a victim of the world or an adventurer in search of treasure. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. MTD Meditation. Perseverance conquers all things. The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. Fortune favors the bold. Come back with your shield, or on it. Spartans, eat well, for tonight we dine in Hades. Wisdom begins in wonder. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is achieved. You have the right to work, but never to the fruit of work. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Love is not about how much you say, "I love you," but how much you can prove that it's true. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. You may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Change in all things is sweet. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. For I am sure that neither death nor life will be able to separate us from the love of God. And we desire each one of you to show the same earnestness to have the full assurance of hope until the end. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Perseverance is not a long race. It is many short races, one after the other. The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. Fortune favors the brave. Spartans do not ask how many are the enemy, but where are they? No retreat, no surrender. That is Spartan law. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. MTD Meditation. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Have faith in God's timing. It's better to wait a while and have things fall into place than to rush and have things fall apart. With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. You are what your deepest desire is. As your desire is, so is your intention. As your intention is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death, but once. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Victory belongs to the most persevering. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The future depends on what you do today. For I can do everything through Christ, who gives me strength. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.